G'day, MathematicalKM here, coming to you with the final round of the Hetherington Memorial Classical Chess Tournament at the Tuggeranong Chess Club in Canberra. I'm weighing in at 1472. My opponent with the white pieces, Colin, is weighing in at 1545, so about 75 points uphill. And we've met twice in Classical for a win and a loss. Strangely, my win was with the black and the loss with the white, and I've got the black pieces again tonight. So let's take a look. First, we'll just zoom. There we go. So again, we'll just zoom through, getting until something changes from the first 10 moves of the Hippopotamus. You might notice a strange order with the A pawn before the B pawn. Just stopping any annoying checks that, the knight comes in here anyway, but slight change in the order, and we don't get that light bishop checking our king. And here we are. It's quite an interesting breather moment. And with the single pawn in the middle and the A and the B pawn quite far advanced, it's an interesting one. I might even post just this static breather moment on Solomon Riddell, the Chess Giant's Patreon, and see what some of the other Hippo players think. Now, it's interesting to me. You'll see that in a moment I thought, well, I can play the the flank pawn, and just take the space, come in behind, and it's really unopposed at the minute. Computer likes c5, fighting now. Now, it would have 3 defenders, and white would only have 2 attackers. I guess it would sort out all the madness on the queen side quite quickly. And being not too bad for black, I can kind of see that. It's gone a bit deeper then, and the computer's now liking castling now. Or rook to c8, seeing you can see c5, not c4, but c5 being the explosive square. So that's interesting. I have gone for a mistake, taking that extra space there. And white should respond with e4, challenging it immediately. And then I'm not sure if I'd be swinging the knight in behind. It would be a different game from what did happen, with bishop to b2 being an inaccuracy. He's lining it all up towards my bishop, which is hanging. A lot of stuff in the way. And coming in behind, I'm also starting to think, this is almost the Stonewall, forget A and B are forward, the Stonewall pawn formation. I can try and get the knight in there and do my best to keep his knight out of e5. That's of late. Those who are avid watchers of MathematicalKM, remember their initials, not a title, Keith Malumbi. I have been playing the Stonewall with the white pieces and the Hippo with the black, but I'm very much seeing a Stonewall, complete with castling, taking and getting the rook coming on the open F file and getting the typical Stonewall attack in on white's castled king. It's up there for thinking. Okay, he's getting his rooks into the middle. Again, I'm thinking about, I'd like to get my knight in here, but I kind of don't want his knight coming in. And at the moment, my D pawn is keeping his knight out. Okay, that it's an inaccuracy, but it is making a threat. I mean, that pawn is hanging and it would come with check. Needs must do something about that. Best move, queen to d7, played. Okay, it's kind of scary in a way. We've got 4 pawns. I mean, I've got 5. How do you want to look at it? But clash of the pawns over on the queen side. Both kings are on the king side, castled. But I've gone, let's dive in with my knight. And right now, I mean, it's not going to happen at this level. But in a lot of the games, when you watch the Chess Bra, GM Hamilton's Stonewall speedrun, if they take with the knight, you end up, because it's covered in this case by a bishop and not a pawn here, but the effect is much the same. You get a pawn fork on 2 pieces. But I'm not predicting that that will happen. But I have got my knight in there. Okay, and he's thrown his c-pawn forward. And just doing the Lego fit and that would let my rook be on an open file. b5 is best. Kind of see that, or it was best. Bishop to d5, which holds his pawn back and threatens the queen. And we're still keeping his knight out. That ticks all the boxes for trying to set up the Stonewall. So I've played it. Excellent move, apparently. He's blocked with his bishop. Now, computer likes b times c5. 0.6 compared to 0.4, so not much in it on, let's just get rid of these light bishops. A lot of my pawns are going to be on light squares, so yeah, I like that. And now there's a slight edge to black. Okay. And he's got 2 knights that are focused on that e5 square. Now that was a mistake. And with my plan of setting up the Stonewall Dutch, this was a move I could have thought about a bit more. Because what I want, it's right here for the taking. This pawn. And you can see b5 is best. If he takes b5, my a pawn takes it, and then that knight still has to move. It probably goes back here, and he's still being kept out. Can't come in. Probably go forward with my other pawn then. But needless to say, I didn't play that. I've asked the knight to move, and he's dived in. Great move. And now, apart from this pawn being here, the Stonewall Dutch formation, my knight in there, your opponent has managed to get his knight in here. It looks like a Stonewall game, in a game in which the opponent is largely almost playing Stonewall against you and getting their knight into the equivalent e5. So it's kind of weird. It started as a Hippo, but now it's looking like all the experience in the Stonewall games is going to be handy. Now, I want to take that knight out. Not on a date, but I want to take it out. And I do not want another knight to come in. That means I've got to move this knight on and then take it. Or get 2 attackers, take with one. If he takes with a knight, I take with the other. Or if he takes with the pawn initially, then I just leave it. Beautiful. And I will have disrupted his pawns, and I will have the Stonewall knight, and he will not. That's the plan. That's what we're sort of gunning for at this point in time. Of course, the immediate threat of his Stonewall knight is on my queen, and now my queen is very much covering his Stonewall knight. And also, should his queen, I don't know, move across, if it totally leaves, then the A pawn would be hanging. That might be a greedy move. Did go a long way. It is still covering that A pawn. And now I am seeing about getting my two attackers. It's not, the computer very much likes B5 now. Or G5, which keeps that one at home, but also G5 might be looking to G4 to move that guy along. But I have gone, it's given us a miss. But I've got my plan. And now the best move. C takes, he would have been best with taking, and I kind of thought about it. If he took this pawn, I would probably, could I get away with just taking immediately? Because my knight is covered. It's protected by the queen. Oh, he's got two. No. If he played that best move, I would probably come flying in and take the knight immediately. And if his rook's not going to take my pawn, because if it does, then my knight can escape. I've won a piece. So if I take his knight straight away, he's got to take back with the pawn. And then I can do something. I would take his pawn. He takes, I take here, he has to take here, I take back. We've got an open file, which he currently owns, but we can fight over that one all day. But he's made a blunder. Blundering a pawn, really. And I'm not even sure if I pick up on the pawn, but I certainly am taking his Stonewall knight. And at the moment, I really can't take it because it's covered. But his pawns are not as good as my pawns, and I've got that knight where the Stonewall player likes to put it. And let's see, the computer liked B takes. The computer wanted me to fight on the queen side, fight it out. Whereas I've gone forward thinking if he takes me, I'll take him, and that's given me a rook on an open file, given as an inaccuracy. And that's given as a mistake when he chooses to not give me that open file with the rook. And G5, moving that knight along now was best, but how about stopping those white pawns dead? That's what I wanted to see. Anyway, so the queen side, forget about it. Forget about it. We don't play on the queen side in the Stonewall. It's not a Hippo, it's a Stonewall. Okay, that's given as an inaccuracy, but I can certainly see what he was thinking. He's kicking my Stonewall knight away. It's only really got the one move. Knight to G5, but that's not the best move. I see it's one of those weird ones where you take my knight, I take your knight, is the computer's preferred modus operandi. But I've gone with the inaccurate keeping my knight alive. Okay, computer. Sure. He's allowing himself to double rooks, all that sort of thing. It's given as excellent. King h7 is best. The king's got his own sword. It allows the queen to move because the queen was the only protector of the g-pawn. And I now have two protectors of the h-pawn. It just gives me some freedom. He's moving his bishop. I'm pulling the knight back because it might be nice to start advancing these pawns. It's given as good. F4 is a great move. And it is a great move because you'll note that that knight, that had a pawn in it, that pawn. Without playing that particular great move, I had trapped his knight, which would have been nice. But no, Colin wasn't going to let that happen. Now, the knight is hanging. Computer liked me moving along with a pawn. And if he took the pawn, I could take back. The queen wasn't there, but I could take back with the knight. And then these would be isolated. Yep, okay, I can see it. I understand this one. Unlike letting my knight die before. That looks good. And it makes this into a semi-open file that I can get things on. So much better than queen here was pawn here. But we've played it, and we threatened the knight. It had to go back. Now it doesn't like g5. Now it likes h5. But I guess getting h5 in without the queen threatening it, so when the knight then moves, the king can come forward and protect. Makes a degree of sense. But I'm threatening that pawn there. If he takes, I can take back. Looking and putting my knight straight back in to the Stonewall knight square. Let's see what happens. Ouch. My weak links. The double base of the pawn structure. Let's have a look at the recommendeds. G4 is brave. It allows knight takes here. If I play G4 now, that allows knight takes, threatening the queen. Sure, I've got a pawn, but no. Knight to D8. My knight is protecting what his knight is attacking. That's quite the nice little crisscross. So G4, courageous decision, Minister, for any Yes Minister fans. Knight D8 works, or Queen E8. Queen E8 is the queen is protecting both of the pawns. I have gone Queen D8, which also has the queen protecting both of the pawns. And now his best move was G4. Having a big standoff here. Would have been interesting to see how that would have played out. And fortunately, the difference between played and best is nearly 2 points. Having said that, bringing a rook across, looking for a rook left, or all makes a degree of sense. But g4, given as a great move, and apart from anything else, he's got the wrong bishop for an endgame. Still, it's a bit hard to see my bishop getting around to do much damage at the moment either. It's a slight edge, half a point to white. And yeah, there's no way through for my dark bishop. I've put the rook behind where I think it might break down. And I'm thinking it might break down on this file when I get Harry forward, which again is fairly courageous with my king being there, but we'll see. And I thought that get the best use of my bishop would be from here. So I've started the process, and that also lined my rook up on my g-pawn, just in case something crazy like if he takes, I'd take there. But let's take him. And that's given as excellent. He can't leave his rook there. I'd just take it. If he puts his rook there, I'll win another pawn. And I'm advancing, and I am not quite ready to back it up, but I'd be mad not to, I feel. It's given as a great move. And then rook takes g3 is best with check. Now it's kind of interesting. This is perhaps a turning point in some ways, and Colin will be watching this video, I hope, so he'll see what I see. It's interesting that it's still only plus 0.6, but that's the adventurous king comes forward to threaten the rook move. Not bad. But and second to that is king starts running. And the worst move at 0.00 is king hides behind rook, which is played. And now it says 0.39. It was 0.00. And look at all these 0.00s. We've got knight d8, freeing the queen up. Is 0.00. Bishop e7 is not. And bishop g7 is also not. Well, of the three, I've gone with the best one, apparently. Here you go. He's brought his knight back. It covers the check square, which is kind of annoying. It covers the rook, also annoying. And I have decided to cover my rook with the other rook. Let's try and get some more pieces across. And right now, slight edge to black, 0.3, 0.23. It's going to keep changing. And he brings one of his pieces across. Now it's interesting that again I've got 3 choices that are all 0.00. I'm kind of feeling that this pawn, he's back there, but he hasn't got any pawns in front of him, so he's a chance. He's in danger, but he's a big chance. If we were to take all of the pieces off and just have the kings right now, I think black would be a shot. That one came forward, my pawn could take it, and then he'd off to the races. And I've also got the Harry pawn. So by that logic, Yeah. I thought, given as an inaccuracy, I perhaps was meant to get off lose a pair of rooks now, or go rook 3 back to g4, where it's protected by a pawn, which if he takes it, then these two pawns become, this weak but very advanced pawn will become quite strong with the pawns. Yeah, I see it. But again, it's 0.00. It's almost different ideas. And I have gone with, let's get a battering ram, let's get that bishop in. More troops. He's threatening my rook with his bishop. Best move is not going down the exchange, but getting a pair of rooks off. So I do that. That was forced. It's now minus 1.2. Great move. Threatening his bishop with my bishop. It can either go away, or if it puts its put up or shut up, then I get the queen in to infiltrate. But no, he takes the advanced pawn with his rook. That makes a degree of sense. And bishop times e1 is best. He doesn't want to lose the piece, so queen takes e1. So for this very small amount of time, this was my moment, a moment which passed me by. And that moment, and the move which, after I give white a move, I spend a lot of time contemplating d4, stuff happening and coming in with a check. And right now is the time, d4. And if it's not d4, then it's 0.00. And so I missed it. I've gone, I mean, it's nice. The rook's protected by a pawn, all the rest of it. But it didn't. I mean, if I'd got the pawn even further forward or taken his, and then the queen, the checks, it all works a lot better without that knight being there. And now it is there. Backing my rook up, and the knight's now covering. Naught point naught naught. Threatening my weak links. My best move. Protecting my weak links. His best move. My best move. So it's a repetition that makes sense, and it was a heck of an arm wrestle, and it was a hippo that built a wall of stone. I had my moment, which I missed. But all in all, I think the draw is a fairly well-deserved result. And now between me and Colin, what's George Thorogood? Is it George Thorogood or one? I think it is. With one bourbon, one scotch, one beer. We've got one win, one draw, one loss. So be interesting to see what happens next time, Colin. And for the rest of you guys who've watched so far, thank you very much. Please give any comments and like, share, and subscribe. And by the by, the Monday nights, they're playing these insane short time frames, not 60 minutes classical anymore for the next 3 weeks. So the Monday night stuff, it'll be 4 weeks away. But the Thursdays at the Canberra Chess Club will keep going for the next little while. So bye for now.